Shalom, brilliant lesson. Going to be covering a very important topic because it's very relevant for today. What actually is Babylon? What's the Babylonian mindset? This is taken from a Torah perspective, how that relates to prophecy regards the cup of wrath, the cup of Babylon, and how that's possibly connected to the cup that Yeshua asked whilst he was in the Garden of Gethsemane to pass from him. This is an incredible insight. The whole concept of the anti-Mashiach, the whole spirit behind Babylon, what it's actually rooted in and what the remedy for it is. These are things that we need to know because there's a lot of prophecy related to this. Prophecy in Jeremiah, prophecy in Isaiah, prophecy in Revelation, all throughout Revelation. We're living in those times now where we need this wisdom more than ever. We need to know the difference between serving Yahweh, serving YHWH, and serving other gods, Elohim Achronim. Okay, so let's start off. We're going to be starting off with Psalm 75 because from this verse, in the Hebrew, we connect this wine that's in the cup to the mortar with which they built up the Tower of, it's called the Tower of Babel, the Tower of Bavel in Hebrew, and that's a very important word. And we're going to analyse that. But this psalm links the wine in this particular cup to the mortar with which they built up the city and the Tower of Babel. So let's go and have a look. This is from 75:9. It says, "For there is a cup of punishment in the hand of YHWH, with wine that is strong." And that word strong, in the King James, it's reddened. The root of it can mean reddened. It's from Strong's Concordance number H2560. That's the root of it. It means red, to boil, to foam, or to daub with bitumen. This is the importance of this word. Yayin Hamar Mele Mesech. In YHWH's hand, with wine that is strong, of full mixture, he pours out from this cup, even its dregs will they drain and drink, all the wicked of the earth. But as for me, I shall recount it forever. I shall sing to the Eloha of Yaakov, and all the pride of the wicked I shall cut down. Shall be exalted the pride of the righteous. Okay, so this is from Psalm 75 verse 9. The cup that is in the hand of YHWH, and it's got a wine that is strong. The root of that word strong is bitumen. And bitumen is, this is how it's related to the Tower of Babel, because the mortar that they used was this same word, bitumen. There's a lot that we need to see in it. So let's first of all, let's go and have a look at Genesis 11. So this word is bitumen. Bitumen is crude heavy oil. This is why it's related to oil revenues in some way. They're using the oil revenues in order to build up the whole secular, egotistical, self-centered Tower of Babel to serve themselves and to glorify themselves. Let's go and have a read of Genesis 11, where we find this same word used to describe the mortar. It says, "And it was, the whole earth was one language." So they were all speaking the same language as what you find when you're a part of a group of people that are all motivated with the same ambition to glorify themselves, and of purposes that were one in common. So one language, they all talked the same talk, they all had the same purpose, they were all driven by the same purpose, the same matter, it was all in common. "And it came to pass, when they migrated from the east, they found a valley in the land of Shinar and settled there. They said," this is important, very important, "to each man his companion, his neighbour, come and let us make bricks and burn them in fire. And it shall be for them the brick as a stone, and the bitumen shall be for them as mortar." and that word is repeated. That chamer, that was the word for red wine, strong wine, that is used to describe the bitumen that is the mortar, and it's wa ha chamer chet mem resh, served haya lahem, for them lechomer, as mortar, chet mem resh again. So it's exactly the same word. It's got a slightly different Strong's Concordance number because it's pronounced differently. So it's related, it's Strong's Concordance H2564. I'm just sharing that with you just in case you wanted to go and have a look at that yourself. So we've got a motivation here. We've got the word that connects us to this cup with this wine in that's full. Okay, and this is related to lots of prophecy, the cup of Babylon, the cup of wrath. I'm going to go through that later. However, there's a motivation here. It says, that, so it says, come, let us make bricks and burn them in fire. And it served for them the brick as stone, and the bitumen served for them as mortar. And they said, come, let us build for us a city and a tower, with its top in the heavens, with its rosho. This is another word that's very, we're going to come across it later when we're talking about gall. We're talking about the gall that Yeshua was drank for us because he took us upon himself a curse. But this word, werosho, means its head. Werosh, head is Rosh. Mashiach Yeshua is supposed to be our head. The Mashiach of YHWH, the Messiah of YHWH is supposed to be our head. Okay, when we haven't got him as our head, which represents the name of YHWH, we've got something there instead. We've got to have a remedy for that. The problem is in our intentions that we have in our head. The last war of Gog and Magog, is a war, a battle of our minds. You've got to get this in the right order. You've got to have the right instructions to guide us. So with its tower and its top in the heavens, were Rosho, its head in the heavens. And let us make for ourselves a name, a Shem, lest we be dispersed across the face of the whole earth. And YHWH descended to look at the city and the tower, which was built by the sons of man. Okay, and so we got the motivation. They wanted a name for themselves. They wanted to glorify themselves, wanted to build themselves up. Say, look at our tower, look at our city, look what we have done. Okay, so this, and they had one purpose, and you find this. It doesn't even mean at the individual level. Sometimes what you can have is you can have this at the corporate level, if you like. You can have this as part of a specific religious sect. The motivation is to build themselves a name. Oh, look at us. Look how much God has blessed us. Look how important we are because look at the size of our building. Our motivations can be very wrong. Look at how important we are because of the car that we drive. We want a name for ourselves. We want to make our neighbours jealous. Look how big our house is. Look how many possessions that we have. And there's a desire to glorify our own names. We should want to glorify ourselves to a certain degree, but only for the sake of his name to be glorified, not for the sake of our own names to be glorified in the eyes of others or to make others jealous. We got to be the best that we can be in this world. We've got to have a good name for ourselves because it's who we represent in this earth. We represent the name of YHWH. So we have got to behave as servants of his name. We've got to sanctify his name. We've got to avoid, the Torah's word is, you shall not desecrate my holy name. This means cause avoiding glory. We usually cause avoiding glory when we're seeking to put our own glory there. And this is the problem with the Tower of Babel. They wanted a name for themselves. However, this same word can be used to be put to good. When it comes to oil revenues, this bitumen, like I say, bitumen is hydrocarbon, it's heavy crude oil. It's related to the oil that we use. It's the same substance, just less refined. as the oil that we put in our cars and things like that. It's the whole economy of the world in which we live. So we need to pay attention to this. We're living in a world where oil revenues are fueling Babylonian systems, Babylonian mindsets. And we've got to break this. We've got to give ourselves a holy mindset, a set apart mindset, a mindset where we are serving the name of YHWH and nothing else beside. We can use everything, we've got free choice. We can serve Babylon, we can build up Babylon. Babylon's going to get destroyed. It's a total vanity and emptiness to build. It says in Psalm 127, unless YHWH builds, the builders build in vain. You see, anything to do with building up our own name, anything to do with glorifying ourselves, it's going to fail. It's going to fail. It's going to fall. It's prophecy after prophecy after prophecy. So we might as well turn from it. It's totally and utterly vanity and emptiness. It will not stand. However, we can use everything for holiness. We have a free will. Nothing's evil in and of itself. It all depends what we use it for, because it says in Exodus 2:3, that same bitumen was used to provide sanctuary for the Redeemer of Israel, Moses. Because what was his basket covered in? Let me just go read it. Exodus 2:3. It was covered in bitumen. Here we go. So 2:3. It says, she was not able any longer to hide him, so she took for him a basket, a tevat, and that word is connected to the word for word. She took for him a tevat, word, of reeds, and coated it, and were tachmara, and that, you see the same word, she daubed it, and they're the words chet memresh. So rooted in back to this word, she daubed it with bitumen, bechemar. So we've got a repetition of that same root word, chet memresh, repeated in that verse, in that one verse, were tachmara vechemar, u va zafat, and with pitch she placed it into she placed into it the boy, which was Moses, the child, and placed it among the reeds at the bank of the river. So you see, we have free will choice. Yahweh himself used this same pitch in order to save the Redeemer of Israel. And it also mentions that the ark, it doesn't use the word chamar, bitumen, but it says the ark was covered inside and outside. It's chaper, it had a covering, and it's certainly interpreted that that covering itself was bitumen. That's the ark that saved the whole of humanity. So nothing is evil in and of itself. It all depends who is using it and for what purpose. Yeah, YHWH himself used this as a means of redemption, for one, for the whole of humanity, and two, for the Redeemer of Israel. So that's worth bearing in mind. Very interesting. So I'll just check that I've gone through everything. So Noah's Ark, yeah, can be used to provide sanctuary. The problem is they wanted to make a name for themselves. Okay. The word Babylon in Hebrew are the letters Beit, Lamed, Beit, Lamed, Bavel, Beit, Lamed. Those words, and that's those words the opposite way around, are the opposite of the word heart, levav. Lamed, bet is heart, levav, heart. So Bavel is when our heart is in the opposite direction, it's backwards. Instead of having a heart to serve our Abba in heaven, YHWH, we've got a heart to serve ourselves. Instead of having his name at the centre of the universe, we've put ourselves and our own ambitions and our own desires and our own lusts and our own sins the centre of our universe. Okay? So this word, levav, heart, which is Babylon backwards, Bavel backwards, is to be found in Numbers 15, it's all throughout. It's Strong's Concordance, H3824, levav. Okay, so you'll see it's in lots and lots of verses, but there's some that I'm going to go through because there's some that's related to what we do when we've got the wrong heart. We turn to other gods. Instead of YHWH, we end up serving other gods. This is very difficult for us spiritually because there's a lot of people that are under the mindset of Babylon, serving themselves with themselves at the center of the universe. They even think that they're serving YHWH, but they're not. And I'm going to go in to talk about that and how we can free ourselves from that mentality, especially through Yeshua. So if we look at Numbers 15 and 39, this is one of the instances where there's the word levav used, and then I'm going to go and talk about Deuteronomy 29 because it's absolutely unbelievably wonderful stuff. Helps to liberate us from this evil mindset, free us back to our true identity in Yeshua and the way that we was created. We were created to serve the King over kings of kings. Let's get on and do that. It says, I'll start at 38. It says, speak to the children of Israel and say to them to make for themselves tzitzit on the corners of their garments. These are tassels, the tzitzit, on the corners of their garments throughout their generations, and to place upon the tzitzit on the corner a thread of tichalet. And it shall constitute for you the tzitzit, the tassels, that you may see it. You will remember all the mitzvot, all the commandments, and to do them, and not explore after your heart and after your eyes, which you stray after them, so that you may remember and you may perform all my commandments, and you shall be holy to your Elohim. I am your YHWH, your God, who has removed you from the land of Egypt to be to you a God. Ani YHWH, Ani Yahweh Elohechem. I am Yahweh, your God. So this is getting the heart in the right way. This is the word of, we just came across it, didn't we? Do not explore after your own heart. Do not explore after your own heart. Make sure your heart is set in the right order, going towards Yahweh. Because if you've got, and these tassels there, these commandments are there to remind you to fulfill and do all the commandments. We're at a stage where we can't do all the commandments now, but at Sinai, the children of Israel made a promise, they made a vow with their own mouths. They said, we will do and we will understand. So there's still a lot of commandments that we can do. We can keep the Shabbat, we can honour our mother and father, all the 10 commandments we can still do. Many, many of the commandments. There's some of the ceremonial law we certainly cannot do. We certainly cannot do the sacrificial law because there's no temple at this time. Okay, but there's a lot of the commandments we can do, but we didn't just say to do. We said we will do and we will hear. That word to hear, they said na'aseh, we will do, wanishma, and we will hear. Now, to hear in Hebrew means to understand. So you see, we've still got to understand the commandments. We've got to understand the wisdom. We've got to understand the light. We've got to understand how our Abba in heaven is shepherding us in wisdom. He's sanctifying us even through understanding what he desires from us. Our heart turned fully towards him. Okay, so even the ones that we can't do, we've got to make an effort to understand it. This is why every day we read the Torah. This is our daily bread. This is nourishment for our soul. This is nourishment for our minds. This is going to keep us on track. This is going to keep our heart in the right order. You see, everything in creation turns in accordance to that holy name. If we're going in the right order, we sanctify in time as Yahweh desires us to sanctify time. We dwell in and abiding in his holy Shabbats. We keep in his holy commandments. We understand in the written word. What does that mean for us today? Like this, it means something for us today. It's relevant today, more today than it ever has been. Everything goes in its right order. Everything is levav. Our heart is towards Yahweh. We are serving through thought, word, and deed. Our thoughts are powerful, our words are powerful, our deeds are even more powerful. So we are serving the King over kings of kings. Everything's flowing in its right way. We are creating a channel through which his name can be revealed when we choose to. And his name is his hand is open, holy, generous, and full. He desires to bestow on us absolute abundance, blessings, not blessings for absolute luxury to satisfy every lust and desire of our fallen nature, our carnal minds and our carnal flesh. He desires to satisfy the soul and the body, the holy sanctified body, for the sake of his name to be glorified. He desires to bestow upon us good. We've got to create below the right channel to be able to receive from above. You see, when we set our heart Babylonian style, we're going counterclockwise. This is the anti-Mashiach. We're anti his name. We're for our name. We don't have his name at the centre of the universe and revolve our whole lives around that. No, we put ourselves at the centre of the universe and expect everything to conform to our image of ourselves. Give unto Caesar what is to Caesar's. We're not supposed to imitate Caesar. We're supposed to imitate YHWH. We're made in his name. So when everything is functioning that way, everything is flowing right. Yeshua, we're going to read some beautiful scriptures from John 17 about Yeshua. In fact, I'll read them now. Because really, this is the anti-Mashiach when we don't get this bit right. We're serving something other. And this is so important to remember. Yeshua's own words in John, the unbelievable John 17. He mentions it, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I'll get there. He mentions this, and I talk about it all the time. He came to restore us back to be able to serve the Father in heaven. And the name of the Father, he knew exactly what he was coming to do. He'd come to destroy Babylon. He come to cause Babylon to fall. And he come to restore us, our hearts back to the Father, our hearts in the right direction. He came to set an example before us. This is how you do it. This is how you serve the Father. This is how you turn your heart in the right direction. So John 17, I've just jumped ahead of myself, but so I'm just a little struggling to get there. Let me just get the actual verses. John 17:6. This is how important it is to have the name of Yahweh there. It says, I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest me them, and they have kept thy word. They have kept thy word. Okay. And then we've also got 7:12. It says, while I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. In thy name, the name of Yahweh, he kept us in the holy name. He kept everything functioning, flowing in the right direction. He kept us going in the right direction so that we could receive the revelation of the goodness from heaven. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gavest me, I have kept, and not one of them is lost, but the son of perdition, the betrayer, the one who betrayed the name of Yeshua, who betrayed the Father, who went counterclockwise, that the scripture might be fulfilled. And then finally, 26, he says, and I have declared unto them thy name, and I will declare it, that the love wherewith thou hast loved me may be in them and I in them. So he came, I have manifested in thought, word, and deed. I have revealed the power and authority and oneness and majesty of your holy name, Father. I have manifested that name. I have created a channel with which your name can flow through and be revealed through me in my life. This is what Yeshua is. This is what we need to be. Which thou gavest me out of the world, thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word. Thy word is the word is his name. It's a revelation of his name. So we need to now go and have a look, because there's problems when we come to serve something other than that. We've got this in Deuteronomy, big warning now. So there was what Yeshua desired for us. That's what we should supposed to be doing, manifesting the name. Our heart set towards that, imitating the name of YHWH with all his good attributes: kindness, grace, compassion, long-suffering, patience, forgiving those who sinned against us, forgiving even willful sins, okay, forgiving inadvertent sins, and cleansing, absolving people from guilt and shame, embarrassment. How can we do this in thought, word, and deed? How can we encourage somebody to let go of a terrible burden of sin and guilt and regret and shame and embarrassment that they're carrying, so that they can live again, live to be free to serve the name, to function as we were designed to function? This is what Yeshua came to do, to set us free from serving something other. So in Deuteronomy 9, there's a few that I want to read here. Deuteronomy 29, 18 to 20. It says, an image of anything that creeps on the ground, an image of any fish that is under the water, the earth. You're not to make it. Sorry, I'll start at 17. It's telling you not to make any image, and it goes on to 18, 19. An image of anything that creeps on the ground, an image of any fish that is under the water and under the earth, unless you raise your eyes to the heavens, and you see the sun and the moon and the stars, the entire legion, the entire army of heaven, and you be drawn astray, and you bow down and worship to them, and you bow down and you worship to them, which he has appointed, YHWH, your God, them to all the peoples under the entire of heaven. But you, Yahweh, has taken. You see, we've been chosen. Yeshua, we've been given to Yeshua. We've been chosen through. We belong to YHWH. So YHWH, your Elohim, them to all the peoples on the entire heaven. But you, Yahweh, has taken. He has brought you out from the crucible of iron, from Egypt, to be for him a nation, a people that is a heritage, as it is this day. Yahuwah became angry with me because of your actions, and he swore to deny my crossing the Jordan, and to deny my coming into the land that is good. Okay, so I think, sorry, it was Deuteronomy 29 I was supposed to be reading from. It is related, though. It's related to the concept of the false gods. We've got to serve Yahweh, not false gods. But this is what I was wanting to read. Sorry about that. I'm getting myself confused then. So it's Deuteronomy 29, 18. It says here, let me just read that. I've got it right this time. It is. So we'll start at 17, because this is so important. We're going to get to the Rosh now. It says they've got their head, they're building the tower with the head into heaven. It's very important. Our head has got to be Yahweh. This is the only building that will survive. Our head has got to be the Mashiach, the one who comes in the name. Like Yeshua says, you will not see him again until you say, Baruch haba b'shem Yahweh, because he came in the name of Yahweh. People have got confused about this. The languages all got mixed up. We're in a state of Babylon. We don't even know what we're supposed to be doing. What are we supposed to be doing? Building churches, building temples, building yeshivas. What are we supposed to be doing? Building synagogues, we're doing everything wrong. We're supposed to be building up our own self to be able to serve YHWH with love and joy. So 29:17, lest there is among you a man or a woman, a family or a tribe, that in their heart, so this is again, we've got to get our heart in the right direction, levavo, because if we get it backwards, it's bavel, that in their heart turns away today from being with Yahweh, our God, to go and serve the gods of other nations, Elohai Achronim, or in here it's Elohai Agoyim, the gods of the nations, lest there is among you a root that will bear fruit as gall and wormwood. And it will be that when he hears the words of this oath, he will bless himself in his heart, his levav, bil vavo, and that is we're supposed to have our heart towards Yahweh. When our heart is not in the right direction, it becomes Bavel, Babylon, saying, peace will be with me, even though according to the vision of my heart I walk, in order to add the drunk with the thirster. This drunk to the thirster is, we can sometimes sin inadvertently when we get drunk. You know, we do things that we would never do ordinarily. But when you're thirsty for sin, you've got a lust and a desire that's thirsty. You see, your drunkenness, your inadvertent sins will turn to thirsty sins, and then you'll end up, it's all the perversions of your perverse heart that's turned away from Yahweh, just wanting to serve yourself. And enough is never enough. You find this in the world, people who serve themselves. It doesn't matter how many towers they build, how many cities they build, how many perversions they satisfy. It's never enough. It's an emptiness. It's a vanity that can't be filled. There's no satisfaction. The simple blessings of Yahweh are, the grass will grow, you'll be happy and fruitful in your life. Your children, you'll be healthy. Your children will be good children. Your cattle will have food to eat. You'll have food to eat. The sun will shine when it needs to shine. The rain will rain at convenient times. You've nothing to worry about. Just sit back and enjoy your life of holiness and blessing. Just receive the abundance of contentment and joy and shalom, a good heart, a good name. Simple blessings that can be satisfied. You can feel complete and whole. You know, you can feel like you've got a good purpose in life, just being a servant to Abba in heaven. But you know, when you're striving to build up towers of Babylon, it's not no end. You're never done. You're never happy. You're always looking at the next person who's just built a tower bigger than yours. You just go buy a car, the next door neighbour goes and buys a bigger one. Your friend builds a bigger house. You get a promotion, you didn't. It's just chasing the emptiness, the vanity. Unless Jehovah builds, the builders build in vain. You're never going to be satisfied. Give up. Okay, so that is that. There's another verse that I want to read because this is important too. 29:39. Again, it talks about the heart, I do believe. It says 29:39. Oh, it can't be. I don't know what that is. Oh, I think it's talking about the heart again. It must be slightly different numberings in the. Anyway, I'll leave that alone. Let's go and have a look at the concept of, let's just talk about the problems of serving other gods, and then I want to go and have a look at this gall that's mentioned here, the eating of gall. One, when you have got a Babylonian mindset and spirit, when you are counter anti-Mashiach, you are not under the divine providence of his name. Like Yeshua says, I have kept them in thy name. I have kept them in thy name. I have kept them in thy name. Flowing exactly as they're meant to be flowing. While I was with him, this is John 17:12. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Thou that hast gavest me, I have kept, and none of them is lost. Okay, so we've been kept in the name. So what happens when we start to have a Babylonian mindset? We're starting to build up for ourselves. We're not in the name. We're not under the dominion of the holy name of Yahweh. We have come outside his dominion. He is only faithful to serve his name. So through our free will choice, we choose to do evil. We choose to serve ourselves. We choose to put our own ambition at the center of our universe. We expect everybody to serve us. We're not encouraging everybody to serve Yahweh. We come out of his jurisdiction. So whose jurisdiction are we under? We're under the power of another God. And another God is going to lie to you. Because you see, we're not even under a holy angel. We're under the gods of the nations. We're under the gods of other gods. It says Elohim Achronim. These are very powerful divine powers. They're going to deceive you. They're going to make you think you're serving Yahweh when you're really serving yourself. They're going to pretend to be a Holy Spirit. They're not a Holy Spirit. They're deceiving you. They're deceiving you through the lust of your own heart. You're not under the power and dominion of the holy name. You're not like under the wings and guardianship of the Holy Shekinah. You know it, you feel it. You're out in the desert. You're out in this where there's the snakes, scorpions, and vipers. You're getting tested left, right, and centre. That's a warning. Get back under the wings of the Holy Shekinah. Come back into the dwelling of His name. Don't accept anything less than that. And turn from the evil and do good. But we get deceived. And these are divine powers. These are acronym, Elohim acronym of the powers. And that is, we push Yahweh out. He gives it. We've got to come under the authority of another power, another God. We've made another God out of ourselves. These gods are going to fill us. Then we think it's a Ruach HaKodesh. It's not the Ruach HaKodesh. We've been completely deceived. It's the serpent. It's a divine evil power. But you see, if we was under the jurisdiction even of a holy angel, many times throughout the scriptures, the Torah and the New Testament, and this is in Revelation 22:9, if you want to go check it for yourselves. I think I might try and read it actually. It says, don't worship me. I'm just a fellow servant with you. The angels of Yahweh, even if we were under the guardian of the angels of Yahweh, and this time the children of Israel have been under the guardian of angels, we should be under the guardian of His name. We've got to mature to be under the guardian of His name. But if we do come under the guardians of angels, they will tell us not to worship them. It says, then said he unto me, see thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of the book. Worship God. So if you come under a holy angel, even because you're not fully yet under the complete divine providence of the name of YHWH, the angel won't get you to worship it, but a foreign God will, a God of the others will. They'll elicit humans to serve them, because the demonic forces, the demonic powers, and they'll have you serving them night and day. Okay? They're not holy. The demonic, you've got to test these spirits. What is the goal and purpose of my life? Am I under the power and authority of the name of YHWH? And it's not just a pronunciation of the name, because it will fill you with that too. It's an intimate face-to-face knowledge of Yahweh. It's the living word of the Torah and the New Testament alive within you. It's when you can see the glory, the knowledge of YHWH fill the earth as the waters cover the sea. It's not just being able to say a name in a certain way. You know, a lot of people are filled with this, so test the spirit behind it. Is it a Holy Spirit? The Ruach HaKodesh will lead you to all holiness. He will lead you to be like Yeshua. He will lead you to clothe the naked. He will lead you to feed the hungry. He will lead you to feed the thirsty. And this can be spiritually thirsty, to be shepherds, to shepherd and guide people in truth. There's always a spirit of truth associated with holiness. Truth, unshakable truth. So many people, they put their trust in lies. This is the gall that Yeshua had to drink. So going back to Deuteronomy 29:18, it says, because I want to go through this, we make this other God our head. And the consequences of it, it says, lest there is among you a root that will bear as fruit gall, rosh, and it's sometimes translated as gall. It's translated also as hemlock. This is a deadly poison. This is a deadly poison. You're going to get this from serving other gods. A deadly poison. We've got to have Mashiach as our head, as our rosh. This word is rosh. It means head. We've got this poison as our head. We're serving something other than YHWH. And we're believing we're serving YHWH when we're really serving, the God of Babylon, the prince of this world. La'ano and wormwood. So gall and wormwood. Now let's have a look at a psalm that's connected to, that Yeshua himself had to drink from this cup of gall and wormwood. So 69:21. it says, 21, disgrace has broken my heart, and I am deathly sick. I longed for sympathy, but there was none, and for consolers, comforters, that I did not find. But they put in my meal gall, brosh, and for my thirst they gave me to drink vinegar. He had to drink this gall because we had taken it upon ourselves. We'd gone against the advice of Deuteronomy 29:18 to 20. We'd set our heart against Jehovah. We brought in ourselves, we become a root of and a fruiting hemlock and wormwood, bitter, poisonous head. He was the head that had to drink the gall for us, to take this curse upon himself, that we would have life. And yet what do we often do? We go back like dogs to the vomit, like the swine to the mud. We get ourselves all filthy again in this. Why would we choose this? Why would we choose gall? Yet we do. We've got all these doctrines and teachings based on lies, extra biblical texts. Be very, very careful. Be gall and wormwood. This is the living word. Yahweh's not messed us around. He's not hidden stuff for us to find out in caves. He's given it in plain sight. He's not out to deceive anybody. He's hidden in plain sight. It's all in here. The Torah is perfect. Everything you want to know about the Father is in the Torah. It's the words that Yeshua quoted. Okay, so that's the gall that he had to take for us, because we were foolish enough to try and serve other gods. You know, the sun, the moon, and the stars. We've got to be so vigilant. We've got to stay focused on the name of Yahweh. It says in Matthew 26:39, and he went a little further, and he fell on his face, and he prayed, saying, "Oh, my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt." In 42, he says, he went away again the second time and prayed, saying, "Oh, my Father, if this cup may not pass from me, except I drink it, thy will be done." What cup was he talking about? In context to that, he asked us to drink a cup of the new covenant. Are we firmly rooted in this cup, or have we departed and started to drink from the cup of Babylon? The cup filled with gall, the cup filled with wrath. We're going to read about that in a few minutes. It says, "And he took the cup, and he gave thanks, and he gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say to you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom." We are supposed to be building that kingdom up, so that he can come and dwell with us and drink this wine with us again. Baruch haba b'shem Yahweh. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahweh. You will not see me again until you say Baruch haba b'shem Yahweh. We've got to get it right. We've got to build up that for the sake of the name. Unless Yahweh builds, the builders build in vain. We are not building the kingdom of the Father if we are building something where we are at the center of the universe. We've got to build in accordance to the pattern shown us. The pattern shown us is the name of YHWH. Okay, drink from that cup. Plead with the Father, let me drink from this cup, Father, so that I will not be drinking from the cup of gall, from the cup of wrath, and from the cup of Babylon. So I'm going to go and have a look at some scriptures from Isaiah. This is regarding the cup. You just have to get the scriptures so that I've got them right. Isaiah 21:9. So let's talk about the cup and Babylon. So this is 9. "And behold, here cometh a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen, and he answered and said, Babylon is fallen. Is fallen, all the graven images of her gods he has broken into the ground." You see those gods? We can make ourselves into a god. Okay, Isaiah 47. This is warning to us. Isaiah 47:7 and 9. It says, "And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear now this, thou art given to pleasures, thou dwellest carelessly, and sayest in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. the loss of children and widowhood, and they shall come upon thee in the perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me, the wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. And so that is what will happen to Babylon. Okay, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. So it's not a good end. Isaiah, there's also Jeremiah, some incredible ones from Jeremiah. Let's go find them. Jeremiah 25, 15 and 16. It says, for thus saith Yahweh Elohim of Israel, take unto me, take the wine of the cup of fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. And they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them. Then I took the cup at Yahweh's hand, and made all the nations to drink, unto whom Yahweh had sent me. That's from Jeremiah 25. There's also a very interesting one, Jeremiah 51. 51:7, it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. Okay, so even Yahweh there desires for us to pray for those people that have succumbed to this spirit. You see, they end up having their name destroyed. He destroys their name. That was the word that I was trying to find in Deuteronomy, actually. Let me just see if I've got it. Okay, that's it. I wanted to read this. It was Deuteronomy 29. It was actually 19. And it says, not willing will Yahweh be to forgive him, for then will smoke the anger of Yahweh and his jealousy against that man who serves other gods, and will come down upon him the entire oath that is written in the book, and erase will Yahweh his name from under the heavens. So you see, this name we're trying to build up, the name of Babylon, the name of ourselves, the name that we want for ourselves, Yahweh's just going to erase that name. Okay, so there's no point building that up. That's in vanity and emptiness. We've got to fulfill the words of Zechariah. Zechariah 14. It says, but in that day, but it shall be one day which shall be known to Yahweh, not day nor night, but it shall come to pass that at the evening time it shall be light, and it shall be in that day that living water shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea, and the summer in summer and in winter shall it be. And Yahweh shall be king over the whole earth. In that day there shall be one Yahweh, and his name one. Yahweh will be one, Yahweh Echad, with Shemo Echad, and his name shall be one. His name shall be one. This is where we're going to. This is what we've got to look forward to. Where is that name placed? Where does Yahweh place his name? It says very clearly, Psalm 132, he places his name in a specific city. You know, the children of Babylon wanted to build a tower and a city, but he places his name in a specific city. It says, for Yahweh has chosen Zion, and he has desired it for his habitation for him. This is my resting place forever. Here I will dwell, for I have desired it. And also in Deuteronomy 12, over and over again in Deuteronomy 12, it talks about the place where Yahweh, it says, in the place where Yahweh, your Elohim, chooses to put his name. We should be building up the holy city of Jerusalem. We should be building up our own bodies that are a temple to house, cause to rest, to choose to rest his holy name. Okay, so you can read it. I'm not going to read them out. It's Deuteronomy 12, 5, 12, 11, 12, 14, 12, 18, 12, 21, 12, 26. Just repeating about the name in the place where Yahweh, your Elohim, chooses to put his name. Okay, and that's where we serve him. We've got to build up that city of New Jerusalem, the kingdom of the Father on earth as it is in heaven. I'm just going to end with some scriptures from Revelations because I think they're very important. This is talking about what's going to happen. Revelation 14, we've got to get out of this Babylonian mindset. It's the anti-Mashiach. We're serving ourselves. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of our fornication. And then there's 17, Revelation 17:2 says, just wait a minute, 17:2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, the inhabitants of the earth have been drunk with the wine of her fornication. We've all been seduced by the spirit of Babylon to serve other gods, to come out with a dominion, so that we've got gall as our head, poison as our head, other gods as our head, causing us to bow down and prostrate ourselves and serve them. You see what they're wanting you to build up? They're not wanting you to build up a city where the name of Yahweh will dwell. They're deceiving us to serve them. Okay? And parading around, these are divine powers that govern us when we have our heart going backwards. 18:2 says, he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen and has become a habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. There's a lot of temptation. There's a lot of money involved in oil revenues. There's a lot of temptation to desire what this world has got to offer, what Caesar's got to offer, and there's a lot of tax to pay also. Give unto Yahweh what is unto Yahweh, which is absolutely everything. I think that's it. Maybe Revelation 23. What does it say? It says, and the light. Don't think so. Or maybe, yeah. And the light of the candle shall shine no more in all of thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by their sorceries, Pharmakeia, were all nations deceived, and in her was found the blood of the prophets and the saints, and all the earth was slain upon the earth. So it's time to come out of Babylon, isn't it? It's time to loose this mindset from us and get back on track. Put Yeshua at our head. Imitate Yeshua, who imitated the Father. Dwell in the name and only the name. Don't accept anything less. Turn our heart back toward the Father. Just turn from evil and do good. Think good, speak good, do good. Charity spares from death. All these things are needed now in order to turn us back around to true service. You see, Babylon's telling you lies. It's telling you lies that the covenant, the commandments are done away with. The New Testament is to have those commandments written in our hearts so we can serve with love and joy. It's not in a perverse way. You've got to keep the commandments and you've got to keep the testimony of Yeshua. And it's as simple as that. And if we can't do them, at least we've got to understand them. This is the time that we're living in now. And with that, I will say shalom.